Recording.
Alright, we're back, and I'm taking it easy today. I'm on my way home from getting off work here, and let's see, what am I in? I'm in 4th? No, that's 5th. That's why it's kind of boggy. I wanted to do a video I've tried to do several times now, and I might be able to fit this in here. I had a confrontation this fall after riding my trails at my mom's with the dude that was really aggressive. I always rode through this hedgerow area up by where she lives, and some people bought that land out there. It was farm field land, and I just, I've rode through there, and it was always a good time. And this guy eventually cleared out this part of the hedgerow over his property line and planted grass through it, which was kind of weird. They drilled water wells and all this stuff, and they planted some grass. And I was like, well, I don't know what you're doing this for, but I was just trying. I still cut through there occasionally when I was out riding, but I tried to stay on the other side of the property line. Anyway, he got pissed. He put out some cameras, and I didn't really know about it. Didn't really care about it because he was planting stuff and doing alterations off of his property anyway. But anyway, this guy did that, and he got big mad about it, and he came over to my mother's house one day and was really rude and mean to her, saying that he knows it was me doing that, and I was peeling out and tracking all through his land and this and that, and he was confrontational to her. So that was on a Saturday. And I went out riding Saturday evening thereafter. She told me about it, and she was upset, and I was like, all right, well, looks like we're going to have a problem person moving over here, and wherever this guy's from, when he does move into there, after he builds whatever his place is, they're going to be glad to see them gone. But I said, well, don't worry about it, Mom, not going to be a big deal. Sounds like he's mad. I'll just stay out of that area. No big deal. Well, it was a big deal, but I was trying to downplay it to console her and just trying to ease conflict. Well, I went out riding later that day, and it was at my secret spot. And I went ahead and rode this bike back to my mom's house because it was dinner time, man. It's time to eat. Wow, that's really responsible dog owners. Let them run out in the yard, or in the road. And I did so, and it was, it was fall. It was like late October, early November. And had my dinner time, and then we were having conversation as we tend to, and some emergency vehicles went along the road to the highway over by where she lives, and some coyotes were close to her house. Well, these coyotes are real jerks, and they dig around and they mess around all over the place, and they also get after, they knock over bird feeder, not bird feeder, but bird bass and all this stuff, and they just, overall, they're a nuisance. They're a pest. Well, that being said, I'm going to take the long way home. So I got the flashlight and the shoddy, and I went out there, and I don't shoot to wound or anything, coyotes or anything. If I was going after them, I'd go out with some buckshot or something. But the idea would be maybe to pepper them or just scare them off. Like, hey, this is my place, buzz off. I was shining around with the shotgun in my hand and the old mag light, driving around in the hedgerow, and then over in the field, there's a big open field by where she lives. And that approaches the property line where this asshole is building and planting grass and all that stuff. And he must have thought I was out on my motorcycle or something when I was flashing, or it wasn't really flashing, I was shining a light trying to find these coyotes, telling them to buzz off. And this guy drove through his grass with his Barbie Jeep. That's what we're going to call it, a Barbie Jeep, because it's not a real Jeep. And one of my friends actually has one that's very like this, but since this guy is being a jerk, I'm going to refer to it as a Barbie Jeep. My buddy Jake, it's your Jeep is not a Barbie Jeep, right? This is a non-light, non-row crossing, so I had to look. I'm looking into the sun. I'm sorry about the quality of picture of you looking in the sun. Drives down, trespasses on the farm field with his Barbie Jeep. And drives down, and I'm just standing here thinking, like, what is this guy doing? I knew who it was, and so I just stood there with a shotgun, a loaded shotgun in my hands and a flashlight, and I was just shining my light at this guy. And then he trespasses with his Barbie Jeep onto my mom's property where I was standing, and damn near runs me over. So he's hauling ass, and then he skids, he hits the brakes, and if I didn't jump out of the way with my shotgun in my hands, I would have got ran over. And so now I'm from a responsible firearm holder perspective, holding it in a two-handed position, not pointing it at any area of danger. And I also shoot left-handed, so I'm holding it in my left hand in and around the trigger area, obviously practicing safe trigger control because I'm not an idiot, and safety control. And at this point, you know, when I'm doing this maneuvering, I'm holding it, and I was like, I'm in danger. I'm in danger. And I was thinking, you know, maybe you ought to be drawn down on this guy so he doesn't try to ram me again. So I'm in a ready position, not a safe position like if I was out hunting or whatever. I'm in a ready position. I'm not aiming it at this guy, but I'm more a forward hold, ready to defend myself if I need to, because this guy's already committed vehicular assault on me. And he gets out of the vehicle, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Literally, that's what I said. That's because I'm already heightened, the adrenaline's pumping, all that business, and he starts to run me down. He's like, hey, you're doing this, you're doing this. And I was like, hey, you're coming over here trespassing. You about ran me over the vehicle, and you're making accusations. You don't know what the F you're talking about. I said, you need to get your ass back in your vehicle and go back home. And then he charged me, and I proceeded to go back into a safe, ready position, you know, like if I was hunting, holding the gun in two hands, but the muzzle pointed away from everybody. And he starts to charge me, and I gripped up on the firearm, on the shotgun, and he starts to charge me and try to put hands on the shotgun. And I was like, all right, wait your turn. I'm gonna stand my ground here. He's all of probably 5'5", if that. And so I was like, this guy's not a threat. So he grasps the gun with both hands, and I launch him. I wait until he fully commits and steps in my circle, and then I bench press this guy with the gun up against his Barbie bitch Jeep. you know, he's in orbit over here, and I blast him into the Barbie Jeep, which he almost ran me over with. And I said, get back in your car and go home now. You're trespassing. Get out of here. And so he did. He looked like he was about to blow a gasket in his little man syndrome. And this guy's, you know, he's retirement age. He looks like he's about to have a heart attack. And I'm like, you know, maybe nature will take care of itself, and we'll be done with him. I don't wish any ill on anybody. Anyway, he peels out and further trespasses on my mom's property and goes out to the road. Then I with a set of purpose went into my mom's house, and I said, hey, listen, you need to lock the doors. This just happened. I explained what happened, and I said, I'm going to go home, and if somebody comes in this driveway other than the law, you need to call the law, because I'm getting out of here. I always bring my .45 with me in my backpack. We're not talking about .45 revolver. We're talking about my Springfield Armory. So I took it with me, or I actually put it into an appendix carry position and locked and loaded and ready to rock. Because I'm thinking this guy's going to try to run me over or try to surprise me or whatever. So I got back on, I went outside, I got my gun ready, and I proceeded to leave. And as soon as I went out the driveway, his lights come on. He's sitting out in the car, or his bitch car, and he went and started to approach the driveway where I live, or my mom lives. And I just, you know, I was on her property still, and I just, you know what, this is either going to get real bad or he's going to get the hint. So he was parked in the middle of the road with his windows up, and I could hear it sounded like he was on the phone trying to call the law, but he ended up calling the jail like an idiot. And so he wasn't getting a hold of anybody. And I motioned for him to roll down his window. And after about 10 or 15 seconds of doing so, ended up started to have a conversation with this guy. And I was like, hey, what the hell are you doing? First you assault me with your vehicle and damn near run me over, and now you do it almost again. And I was just like, what in the world is going on with this guy? And I said, listen, you're upset because somebody's driving in your grass, right? Allegedly. And you're saying that you think it's me. And I said to him, I said, listen, there's nobody from here going to be driving through your grass. Another responsible dog owner. I said, okay. He's like, well, you need to show me your face. I said, I'm not doing shit. Take your goggles off. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. What you need to do is go the fuck home. Because I'm not having it. I might call the law. But I said, if you go home now, we'll let it go. But I said, if somebody drives through your grass, it ain't gonna be anybody from here. There's people that always ride through here. There's people that go after those same nuisance coyotes and whatnot, and it's considered a service. People doing that because people have cattle, people have animals, and they're hunted. They can be harmed. But this guy's from the city. He doesn't know anything. But I said, we'll let it go. You won't have any problems. Or you can stay here and then we will have problems. But I said, I will defend myself. And at no time I put my hand on my firearm or anything like that. But, you know, that's pretty much all that interaction was. And so that was Saturday. He broke off. I called my mother, told her everything was okay. He's an idiot. She was wound up. I consoled her, and everything was good. And then the next day, a sheriff's deputy came to my mom's house and talked to my mom. I actually went riding again at the same place, and he wanted to talk to me, and I said, yeah, you can. Or she gave him my phone number. He probably already had my phone number since the sheriff who I helped campaign has my phone number. But anyway, she gave him permission to contact me, and that was fine. And I talked to him. She had a conversation with him about how he had confronted my mom and got it in her face and was being really rude and disrespectful. And he said, well, you know, I haven't talked to this party in person, but I said I will. But he said I will. And but when we do, regardless of what they report or say, referring to the little man syndrome guy, he said, I will have him trespassed from your property, and if he ever comes here, we'll just pick him up and haul him off. He said that the man, when he called our dispatch, when he finally figured out how to call us, he was rude and trying to tell us what we were going to do, and was just an overall asshole. And I said, well, and Mom said, well, that's pretty much what I gather anyway from this guy. So I had a conversation with the sheriff's deputy. He called me on the phone, and we had a nice talk. And I said, this guy needs to understand, I was within my rights to shoot him when he was assaulting me with his vehicle. I had to jump out of the way. And he said, well, I'm all for people defending themselves, and I'm glad you did not do that, because I would have to do a lot of paperwork. And I said, well, I'm glad I could save you a lot of paperwork. Hey there, mister. Anyhow, that was a big ordeal. We had a nice conversation. I told him how he drove a Barbie bitch Jeep, and he said, well, yeah, these people come from the city. They build these houses out here. And you know, they just think the guy might have some money or whatever. Still not compensating for the fact that he's like 5'2", maybe even 4'11". We'll call him just so little of a man syndrome. But anyway, so the sheriff says, yeah, you're in the clear. You know, I told him, I said, I'm not going to say that I rode through there or not, but I know somebody has been. But I said, a lot of people ride through there, and they may still. I said, I won't be. So he can say, he also made a claim at some point that he spent $10,000 establishing this grass. And I was like, man, a fool and his money are soon parted. Either way, the guy got served his trespass. I got no consequences. And I said, listen, if that guy gives you anything of a hard time, I'm going to press charges on him. I want you to know that I'll press charges on him for assaulting me with his vehicle. I said, I got pictures of where he trespassed on my mom's property and all this stuff. But anyway, I'm driving up here to where it is. It's up here next to this hedgerow up here. Anyway, apparently he was probably rude to the officer, the sheriff, and he probably just let him have it and just moved on. They're building these houses over here, and this guy's acting like a complete moron. And I hope his grass dries up and catches fire. But anyway, that's my story time for the DRZ E model. Yeah. So if you ever come up here to this turnaround over here, you can go over here and do donuts in that grass for all I care. I just know I won't. That's pretty cool. That's like a shop house. And my friends' in-laws are building a house over here where that dirt's piled up. So maybe I'll go over there and ride around sometime just to disappoint that little man. But anyway, that's our story time for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.